So I spent most of my day outside, lingering around, and mainly chilling at the graveyard area. I love hanging out in graveyards. And I don't like using the word channel, but being in the nothingness, surrounded by death in a graveyard, you get interesting information coming through in your brain. There's like a little fly here. Fuck off. And yeah, I'll just call it channeling. Like I was able to channel this. It's about a special childhood friend I grew up with, and I'm gonna use him as an example. I want to talk about a very specific type of weakness in mankind, some more extreme than others, and it's cowardice, being a coward. And why people such as that, people who struggle with that weakness, with that type of struggle, why they deserve compassion. I know a good friend of mine, and he's not my friend of mine anymore because it's for my own good. Let's just say. And he is the biggest coward I've ever met. He's very good at masking it. And he's the kind of person that chooses to believe the lie knowing full well that it's a lie because the truth requires too much strength to handle. That type of person. Yeah, being a coward can go in different types of ways. It's not just someone pissing his pants during a battlefield underneath in the basement. No, I'm talking about being a coward and embracing the truth of whatever situation, of whatever person or thing. Being able to stand firm in that truth, to accept the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it is. Yeah. So coward is a broad spectrum. Now the light is changing, but I don't think you guys give a fuck. It's the message that matters. It makes me look darker. I look like I have darker skin. I have been getting more tan lately because of the sun, except for this area. Like this is all white. I need to do something about it. Anyway, nah, I'm not vain. I don't give a fuck. Summer will be over and eventually this tan will go away and whatever. Who cares? Anyway, I digress. So I grew up with this person and I watched him being a coward in every situation possible. Like, he's a coward in all areas. There's one thing disassociating or not noticing you're wearing a mask, and there's another thing when you know you're wearing a mask and you know you are in this type of facade, type of belief system. You know it's bullshit, but you go for it anyway because you're afraid of the truth. It's another thing if you're just going for the facade and you're going with the game because you have an agenda of your own and it's beneficial. You know, that's something else. That's not being a coward. I'm talking about being a coward. You are so afraid of the truth, of your truth, of what's actually going on from a realistic point of view. And that person deserves compassion. He got involved in a very, very toxic situation. Let's just say. I'm going to try to not be too vague about it. Just being cautious with my wording because he does lurk through my channel. He got himself into something that is clearly beyond phoniness. Like this is just bullshit. And he knows that. But he is afraid of actually stepping away from it. And that there, to me, someone like that deserves compassion from a distance. Don't get too close, because a coward will drag you down to their level. If they're sinking, rest assured, they are cowards. They will use you in a way to try to survive with, with the cost of your life. You know what I mean? Be careful with cowards. That character Gregory from The Walking Dead? Hey, I'm Gregory. That is a prime example of how dangerous a coward can be. The character Gregory. Search it up on Google. Try to spend time watching some of the scenes with him and just getting to learn this character to really understand how a coward type of individual can be so dangerous to be interacting with you in your life. So have compassion for them, but with a huge amount of distance. You gotta put up strong boundaries, because they will destroy you in order to survive or to perceive, to keep up the lie or keep the bullshit from happening. This includes cult followers. I mean, you have people who are just brainwashed and they don't know any better and they realize they've been brainwashed, right? And they got out of it. But you have people who stay there more than 10 years, even though it's been warned it's a cult all left and right direction. They know it's a cult, in my opinion, on the subconscious level. But they're cowards. These are cowards. They don't want to see the truth. And cult followers are just as destructive as the cult leaders themselves, in my opinion. However, it's debatable whether or not you should blame the cult followers from the destructive things that are happening while they're being brainwashed, right? Like, let's say you got out of the cult and you realized you didn't know you were in a cult and you got brainwashed and you got out of it and you realize, I'm going to take ownership of the harm that I've caused. That's a whole other topic. I'm not going to debate about that here. But I'm talking about people who are in the cult despite being proved that it's a cult, and there's so many red flags, clear as day, like bing, 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 I'm a cult. This is the MLM scheme, right? I'm a fraud. It's being exposed, and yet you still choose to follow those people. At some point, it's safe to assume that these types of cult followers, they're cowards, and they're dangerous, and they're weak-minded. Weak-minded people are extremely dangerous. I do not want to have anything to do with weak-minded people. I can deal with complicated people who are misunderstood, the odd ones out, people who are kind of gray areas. I rather hang out with someone who is pro-negative. I'm keeping it fake here in regards to negative and positive. You have people who are pro-supporting life, and you have people who are negative supporting life, right? That's a whole other topic. It's about yin and yang or whatever, that bullshit. But I'd rather hang out with pro-negative people than with a weak-minded coward. Because the negative type of people who are pro-negative, they know who they are. Or maybe they're not fully, but they know who they are at the end of the day. I'm talking about people who are like, that's like life, right? There's life and death. People who are pro-life, you have people who create life, you have people who destroy life. It's the way of life, it's how it balances out. Sometimes there's too much on one end, and then eventually, it's like the balance of the Force between the Sith and the Jedi, right? But I'm not going to go talk about that in this video. My point is, I'd rather hang out with someone who's extremely overly positive, pro-life, and can be a little annoying and all over the place than with a weak-minded coward individual with no spine. And it's funny enough, this person, by the way, has always problems with his back, but it has nothing to do with that. It's just a coincidence. You can have someone who has problem with back problems and not be a coward, right? Don't get me wrong. That was just a coincidence. Like, he's always having back problems. It's like, yeah, that's kind of ironic. seeing that you do not have a spine. But these types of people deserve compassion from a distance. It's very unfortunate to be those types of people. It's so unfortunate because you're not alive. You're surviving, but you're not alive. You're not living. You're living underneath someone's shadow, afraid of your own shadow. So that's the message I want to give out. That's what I got. Call that a channeled message. Being outside all day at the graveyard, surrounded by death. So take care, guys.